I want to speak to you about the purpose of suffering. And I was inspired to create a video about this because I came across an acquaintance of mine, a woman yesterday, who briefly mentioned what she's dealing with. She's thinking of maybe seeing a therapist. And so we sort of got into a little bit of why she felt the need to speak to somebody. And she's been ill with cancer in the past. And after seeing her doctor recently, there's been some more discoveries. And now she has to live with some uncertainty over the course of the next few months until they do a little bit more inquiry about this. Or I think, unfortunately, sometimes we're told that we just have to wait. We're going to wait to see what this does. I mean, I've never had to hear those words, but I've heard from my own clients that sometimes in the medical profession, especially concerning cancer, that's not an uncommon response from a doctor. It's like we sort of just have to wait and see. And I think I can't imagine how horrible that is to hear that. What do you mean? We're just going to wait for the cancer to manifest, further along? Like, how does that make sense? But I think this is not what we're going to talk about is like our medical system in any country or the state of it or anything like that, or what a good bedside manner is and what's not. What I want to speak to you about is what to do with that anxiety and that worry. And I want to sort of bring it from two different perspectives of what do we do with that worry in terms of, do we speak to a therapist, like, and how would that help? Do we offload our worry on other people, in other words, or seek guidance from other people? But also, I want to speak about the whole purpose of suffering from the way I see it, my perception. Let's first talk about the purpose of suffering. Now, there is a purpose in suffering. We are suffering, like, I feel, for a reason. We don't suffer from because we're bad people, and that's sort of the whole idea of karmic law. And it's something that at first, to me, it made sense. It's sort of like, you're, I don't know, in some way not perfect enough or not cleansed enough or somehow not pure enough, and therefore you're sort of getting back what you deserve, and you need to be a better person, maybe more loving, maybe more giving, maybe more selfless in order to have better energy coming back to you. And to me, it doesn't speak about the grace of God. It doesn't speak about you deserve to be happy, loved, just because you're a child of God, just because you deserve to be loved, and like good things can happen to bad people, I mean, but let's not get too deep into that. I just feel that we are on this earth as a human being. We're going to have times of tremendous joy and happiness, and we're also going to have times of suffering. It's just the way it is. But there's a purpose for the suffering, just like there's a purpose for the joy. It doesn't just happen randomly. It's all in a way to, I think, guide you more towards being a righteous and virtuous person. um, I think we experience joy and happiness to remind ourselves of the beauty of this earth, and all the things that we're granted, in this life, and to remind ourselves of what we have in front of us, and just for the sheer experience of feeling happiness and joy. Like, we get to have this, and it's a beautiful thing, and it is a gift from God as far as I'm concerned. And but suffering too, it's sort of, I feel like suffering is sort of an a gift and insight in towards something deeper within us that we need to look at. Um, our tears are often just sort of an indicator to remind us to look within. There's something that we need to pay attention inside of us. And the worst thing you can do is distract yourself from that and suppress it, because it's it's God's way of saying, "Hey, no, 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 no. I know this hurts, but allow yourself to feel that hurt." Because again, it's sort of telling you to look within. But God doesn't want you to stay with that hurt and marinate in that hurt, in that sorrow, because the problem with that is that we can tend to go on a me narrative when we do that. Woe is me. And you sort of get into more of the egoism in a sense in that way. It's all about me. Why is this happening to me? It's like me, 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 me. Meanwhile, I mean, I never want to compare one suffering to another, but like there's many, many, many of us, many people suffering in this world. Much, again, I don't want to compare, but from an outsider looking in, I mean, and I guess somebody who's heard from people their degrees of suffering. I think there's a saying in the Catholic religion, and something like this analogy of, let's say we all come to within a big circle or group carrying our own personal crosses. I think all you would have to do is hear others people's, suffering around you, and you'd be like, um I'm taking my cross and leaving. Thank you very much. This cross is just fine. So I think it's sort of a wake up call to say that, you know, comparatively, sometimes we need to kind of see other people suffering and realize we still have a lot to be grateful for. There's still a lot of hope in our lives. There's still a lot of beauty in our lives, and life is still worth living for in every form, and sense, just experience it, because it is all right in front of us. The light, the beauty, all our senses, we still are gifted with that, and it's our duty to honor that. So it is for a reason. And we have to see that the suffering is, not so much, again, karma coming back to us, and we deserve that, and we have to sit alone with that. It's not that. It's more of it's an opportunity to see something that we were blinded from before, and if you see it as an opportunity in a door within that's opening within inside your soul, it feels like it doesn't feel as heavy. And I'm not saying that it doesn't hurt, but it doesn't feel as heavy if you see it that way. And let's just speak a little bit towards, unburdening your suffering. This is very important to do. I mean, this is why, I mean, mentors, elders, you know, people that have done a lot of life, that are older than we are, that have studied, that, are more or less like experts in the field, either because of experiences or because of study on certain topics. Like, there are there's a reason, like, that they're there to teach us. We're all students, and people, whether it's a therapist, an elder, a friend, a partner, a sister, a brother, a priest, a minister, rabbi, whoever these people are in your lives, they're there for a reason. And you're not burdening them by sharing your suffering. You are asking for help and guidance, and there's nothing wrong with that. um, these people are there for you, and they they want to give to you. They want to be able to help you in some way. It's their purpose. It's their calling in life to be that person. I like myself, I always wanted to be in the helping profession. I just didn't know to what extent or how that might be. But we all have to see ourselves as gifts to other people. And there's some light within you that's needs to shine, and it's your duty to do that as a person. And you don't need to be a doctor, a therapist. You can just, be that person that's able to show how your perspective, um, share your perspective in a way that this person may not have seen it before, because we all behave in a certain way because it makes sense to us. And I know sometimes when I speak to my clients, it really, what it does is allows them to see life a different way, you know, themselves a different way. It's providing light that's on a subject that seems otherwise quite dark and dim and gloomy. We all should see ourselves as vessels of light, which is energy, and we're meant to shine, it on other people. So, for any of you suffering, with a broken heart, a physical ailment, chronic pain, disease, you don't deserve that. It's more of an opportunity to look inside yourself, and maybe it's an opportunity to get help and seek out guidance from another person, and allow the light to shine in you a little brighter from seeking guidance in that way. But you're always going to learn something about yourself, which to me is amazing. It's part of self growth, and it's part of being a good student of life. And you deserve that. You deserve a little help. Thanks for watching.